uncle, Jack Stevens, took me on my first duck hunt in 1978. We might have had a slower morning those days. The ducks weren't as plentiful as they've been over the last few years, but he'd let me stand up in the boat and look over into the rest area, and there'd be, thousands of ducks. And that was just unbelievable. And that just ignited my interest in the outdoors.
I think when any of us are asked about Witt Stevens, some of the first things that come to our mind is gentleman. And he's also someone that, has really applied himself, really as a student of the outdoors and for waterfowling in particular. He really treasures the heritage.
I've always just been in love with the history of waterfowling on the Grand Prairie and just all the culture around it.
And even though there's challenges that continue, Witt Stevens is one of those people that really is leading the way in his own example. He inspires all of us, becoming the youngest Arkansas Game and Fish Commissioner ever appointed at 25 years of age. You have to put that in perspective of really how long he's been immersed in all this and, again, having a tremendous impact.
I was lucky to get to be on the commission at a young age. About 1992, I met Steve Smith and went on the Game and Fish Foundation. When I came on the Game and Fish Commission in '93, the numbers were down. And if you look back to the 70s and some of those dark periods of time for waterfowl, we were down to 1-bird, 2-bird limits and point systems and very restrictive season frameworks.
He knows what it takes to continue to invest in the habitat, and he's seen the worst days, and he's been influential in turning those worst days into our bountiful days.
We had no idea in the early days, even when I was on the commission, some of the damage that was being done. But with new practices and things I learned from Dr. Mickey Heitmeyer and many others, you can mitigate those and start changing them, and you see the benefits sooner than you would think. My first vote on the commission was, I can remember we were setting a 30-day duck season, and it was, very contentious and everyone was trying to get those 30 days allocated.
And almost a testimony again to the need and the investment that we all need to make to continue to keep the outdoors and the outdoors in Arkansas particularly strong for future generations. And he's as serious about that as anybody that I've ever seen. He's as passionate.
With the conservation efforts and the good management, we've extended these long 60-day seasons for way more years than anyone ever thought. I think the best days of duck hunting are ahead. We know so much more about how to manage food, moist soil, crops, green tree reservoirs, regular reservoirs, field management, all the above. That's just going to get better. You have to make these sacrifices in order to have a healthy lands, and if you don't, your children and grandchildren and people all around the area are going to pay the price in the future. Everyone has to do their part, and it all functions as a whole to provide the reason why the ducks stay here and return in good shape back to the nesting grounds.
And I don't know how you would ever come up and count the number of young men and women and adults, first-time hunters, sportsmen in the outdoors that Witt's had an influence in. And he's just that kind of a guy. If you've ever shaken his hand, then more than likely you've made a friend. He's just that kind of a guy and a friend and a gentleman, and again, somebody today that we all respect so highly.
It was an honor to serve on the commission when I did with a wonderful group of commissioners and director Stephen Wilson. You look at those inductees, they're all heroes in my opinion and icons. It's an unbelievable honor to even be talked about in the same breath, let alone be inducted. So I'm thrilled and honored.